this day of the 17th of the February 2022. Business lined up for debate on the floor of the Senate are a number of bills that are scheduled for second reading, which will as well proceed for division. These bills include the Preservation of Human Dignity and Protection of Economic and Social Rights Bill, Senate Bill number 21 of 2021, tabled by Senator Abshiro Halahe. This one will be a resumption of a debate that was interrupted on Wednesday, 9th February 2022. Lined up for debate also is the Irrigation Amendment Bill, National Assembly Bill number 12 of 2021, tabled by Senate Majority Leader. It is set to be read for the second time, and then members will proceed on division, but this will be a resumption of debate that was interrupted on the 10th of February 2022. Also slated for second reading as well as division is the Special Needs Education Bill, Senate Bill number 44 of 2021. This is by Honorable Senator Dr. Gertrude Musuruve. We also have the County Resource Development Bill, Senate Bill number 45 of 2021. There is also the Community Groups Registration Bill. This is the National Assembly Bill number 20 of 2021. This afternoon, members of the Senate will be proceeding to a committee of the whole on a number of bills. There is the Heritage and Museums Bill, Senate Bill number 2022 of 2021. There's also the County Oversight and Accountability Bill, Senate Bill number 17 of 2021, tabled by Honorable Senator Ledama Olekina. This will be a resumption of debate that was interrupted on Wednesday, 22nd December 2021 in the morning sitting session. County Governments Amendment Bill, Senate Bill number 38 of 2021, is also scheduled to proceed to the Committee of the Whole this afternoon. This is a bill that was tabled by Honorable Senator Moses Kajwang. There is also the Kenya Medical Supplies Authority Amendment Bill by Senator Naomi Shiyonga. This bill seeks to amend the Kenya Medical Supplies Authority Act number 20 of 2013 by deleting the provision that requires county governments to procure drugs and medical supplies from the authority as the first point of call. The repeal of the provision will allow county governments to procure drugs and medical supplies from suppliers other than the authority, thereby ensuring adequate fill rates for both drugs and medical supplies. This is a bill that is being tabled by Honorable Senator Naomi Shiyonga on the Kenya Medical Supplies Authority Amendment Bill number 53 of 2021. It will be proceeding to the Committee of the Whole, where members will be considering some of the amendments that have been proposed on this particular bill and see whether they will be adopting the amendments or rejecting and maybe proposing further amendments to it. But that is a part of what the Senate will be considering this afternoon. Honorable Judy Pareno has just stepped into the chambers. She will be overseeing this afternoon session. I will now hand you over for the live broadcast. Good afternoon.
Let us pray. Almighty God, we beseech you to behold with your abundant favor and blessings as your servants whom you have been pleased to call to leadership positions in this republic. We seek guidance to treat and consider all matters that shall come under our deliberation in so just and faithful a manner as to advance the peace, prosperity, and welfare of our country and of those whose interests you have committed to our charge. Amen.
Order number 1, administration of oath. Order number 2, communication from the chair. Order number 3, messages. Order number 4, petitions. Order number 5, papers.
Senate Majority Leader.
Madam Speaker, I beg to lay the following papers on the table of the Senate today, 17th February 2022. 1. Report of the Auditor General on the financial statement of County Assembly of Narok for the year ended 30th June 2020. 2. Report of the Auditor General on the financial statement of County Executive of Kiambu for the year ended 30th June 2020. 3. Report of the Auditor General on the financial statement of County Assembly of Kiambu for the year ended 30th June 2020. 4. Report of the Auditor General of the financial statement of the Kiambu County Emergency Fund for the year ended 30th June 2020. 5. Report of the Auditor General on the financial statement of County Executive of Bomet for the year ended 30th June 2020. 6. Report of the Auditor General on the financial statement of the County Assembly of Bomet for the year ended 30th June 2020. 7. Report of the Auditor General on the financial statement of the County Executive of Nairobi for the year ended 30th June 2020. 8. Report of the Auditor General on the financial statement of Kajiado Education Bursary Fund for the year ended 30th June 2019. 9. Report of the Auditor General on the financial statement of Laikipia County Bursary Fund for the year ended 30th June 2020. 10. Report of the Auditor General on the financial statement of Laikipia County Enterprise Fund for the year ended 30th June 2020. 11. Report of the Auditor General on the financial statement of Laikipia County Cooperative Fund for the year ended 30th June 2020. 12. Report of the Auditor General on the financial statement of Vihiga County Executive Car Loan and Mortgage Scheme for the year ended 30th June 2020. 13. Report of the Auditor General on the financial statement of County Executive Vihiga for the year ended 30th June 2020. 14. Report of the Auditor General on the financial statement of County Assembly of Vihiga for the year ended 30th June 2020. 15. Report of the Auditor General on the financial statement of the County Executive of Meru for the year ended 30th June 2020. 16. Report of the Auditor General on the financial statement of the County Assembly of Meru for the year ended 30th June 2020. 17. Report of the Auditor General on the financial statement of County Executive of Lamu for the year ended 30th June 2020. 18. Report of the Auditor General on the financial statement of the County Assembly of Lamu for the year ended 30th June 2020. 19. Report of the Auditor General on the financial statement of the County Executive of Makueni for the year ended 30th June 2020. 20. Report of the Auditor General on the financial statement of the County Assembly of Makueni for the year ended 30th June 2020. 21. Report of the Auditor General on the financial statement for the County Executive Kitui for the year ended 30th June 2020. 22. Report of the Auditor General on the financial statement of the County Assembly of Kitui for the year ended 30th June 2020. 23. Report of the Auditor General on the financial statement of the County Executive of Machakos for the year ended 30th June 2020. 24. Report of the Auditor General on the financial statement of the County Assembly of Machakos for the year ended 30th June 2020. 25. Report of the Auditor General on the financial statement of the County Executive of Mandera for the year ended 30th June 2020. 26. Report of the Auditor General on the financial statement of the County Assembly of Mandera for the year ended 30th June 2020. 27. Report of the Auditor General on the financial statement of the County Executive of Marsabit for the year ended 30th June 2020. 28. Report of the Auditor General on the financial statement of the County Executive of Bungoma for the year ended 30th June 2020. And 29. Report of the Auditor General on the financial statement of the County Assembly of Bungoma for the year ended 30th June 2020. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Next order.
Order number 6, notices of motion. Order number 7, statements.
Statements pursuant to Standing Order 47-1. Dr. Gertrude Musuruve.
Chance to make a statement on an issue of general topical concern, that is the World Radio Day. Honorable Speaker, I rise pursuant to Standing Order 47-1 to make a statement on an issue of general topical concern, namely the World Radio Day. Hon. Speaker, proclaimed in 2011 by the member states of UNESCO and adopted by the United Nations General Assembly in 2012 as an international day, February 13 became World Radio Day, that is WRD. According to UNESCO, radio is a strong and powerful medium for celebrating humanity in all its diversity and constitutes a platform for democratic discourse. Honorable Speaker, the theme for World Radio Day 2022 is Radio and Trust. This theme has been divided into 3 sub-themes, namely trust radio journalism, trust and accessibility, and trust and viability of radio stations. Honorable Speaker, during this era of digitization, it is certainly the case that although radio is a source of information and provides real-time information, it is slowly losing its place. It has the ability to cross borders and has become valuable where reliable news is scarce due to its affordability. This unique ability to reach the widest audience means local radios play a very significant role in ensuring that local communities access information at their doorsteps. Honorable Speaker, it's notable that vernacular radio stations have been critical in disseminating climate information, which has helped the citizenry make informed decisions about climate change interventions. Mobile surveying platform, that is Geopol, has revealed in its recent research that Radio Citizen, owned by Royal Media Services, was the most listened to station in Kenya. Radio Maisha and Radio Jambo, which broadcast in Swahili, came in second and third respectively. The most popular English radio station was Classic 105, followed by Kiss FM. As we celebrate the World Radio Day, I urge Kenyans to celebrate the lives of legendary Kenyans who played a significant role in the industry who have since departed. Honorable Speaker, I celebrate the late veteran columnist and radio producer Joseph Kilu Nzau, formerly Voice of Kenya, a columnist with Taifa, Leo, that is Wazee Hukumbuka, and Radio Deutsche Welle, West Germany, who recently passed on at the age of 94 years. Veteran journalist Gladys Erude, the legendary radio personality who died at the age of 70 years, Musni Badi, who died at the age of 67, and ex-Kameme FM presenter Jedida Wamboi, who died in the US in December 2021. Mwema Ndunda, a radio presenter from Ukambani region, who died at a very young age, having gained a lot of popularity and followers before his life came to an abrupt end. And Jacob Maunda, a committed veteran who died at the age of 62 years, among others, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, as we celebrate the World Radio Day, I call upon the national and county governments to support community radio stations. I urge radio stations to be keen and vigilant in disseminating non-discriminative messages of national interest and value, love and peace as the country gears for the electioneering period. Media is a gatekeeper and watchdog and should always endeavor to disseminate uniting messages. It is the center that holds the society in information dissemination. Happy belated World Radio Day, everyone. I thank you, Honorable Speaker.
I will allow a few comments. I see a request from Honorable Kasanga Sylvia.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Let me start by thanking and congratulating Senator Dr. Gertrude Musuruve for this statement, because I didn't know we had a World Radio Day until today. So thank you for giving us that information. And indeed, Madam Speaker, you know, we have to say radio from time immemorial has been the one most effective means of communication and sending, you know, word round to human beings ever since it had been, ever since it was discovered and, you know, and made. And we are celebrating humanity and progressing democracy, according to what Senator Gertrude has said. And this theme is something that we need to really internalize here as Kenyans. We have seen here in Africa what radio can do, both positive and both negatively. It has been used very negatively during political seasons and advancing certain political agendas, which I need not mention here, but we have seen what damage radio can do. And as we speak of now World Radio Day, of course, then we have to call for very, very, what do we say, journalism. Now we have to put a spotlight on journalism. And responsible journalism comes into the fore, and especially at a time like ours now when we are going into very active politics going forward. Let's also mention the fact that radio, right now we are celebrating our vernacular stations, which I think practically every tribe now has a radio station that speaks to its language. And whereas we can say we are balkanizing ourselves, you know, into our tribal cocoons, or, you know, we are promoting probably tribalism in a negative way because we are celebrating our own tribes within our vernacular stations, I would say on the flip side, the positives are so many that it is a more effective method of having a conversation with our people in their own vernacular, the language which they understand. And beyond this, it helps celebrate our heritage. And this is something this House has spoken to, that we need to always celebrate our heritage. And then we also have to, you know, give it that our vernacular stations are giving a platform to our young people so they can produce content, you know, that is celebrating our heritage. And that content finds a platform and a place that then they can contribute to the economy. They get paid for this content that they create. And in that sense, then we are expanding, you know, our space for which our young people can participate in the arts as well. I can tell you, back at home in Ukambani, we, of course, like every other tribe, we love our local music. These days, our local music is the in thing. You don't go to a rally and play a song that is from the other sides of Africa, Southern Africa or Western Africa. You actually play what your locals are doing. And our locals have, you know, we have created stars. We have created serious stars within our communities because radio has been the thing that promotes them the most. So we have to celebrate in this context. And another one thing that we have to speak to radio is the fact, of course, of messaging. And, you know, increasingly, we are finding ourselves having to use radio to reach every corner of our country in whatever important message we have to give, including what government has to do, IEBC, you know, the registrar of political parties. All these people have to, you know, send messages to Kenyans through radio because that is the most widely method of reaching Kenyans. And the one thing that I will speak to even when I read my statement today is the fact that we are not using such means as the radio, you know, to advance the cause of giving information on issues like mental health, which have become such a serious issue in this country. And there's a feeling that we are not doing enough, you know, as a nation to send out the awareness of fighting stigma and telling Kenyans where can we access, you know, help from. And yet radio is a means and a tools that is easily accessible, that does not cost much money, that a government can use to send out this information the same way they will use it for issues of voting and IEBC and let's get our voters cards. The same avenue can be used to create, you know, that awareness that is required to help tackle our mental health issues that are strictly on the rise, Madam Speaker. And the same avenue was used when we were fighting HIV in the 80s and in the 90s. And these are the sort of mechanisms then a government can use. So thank you so much, Senator Dr. Musurube, for that statement. And as I wind up, let us really call for very responsible journalism of our Kenyans, of all our radios, of all the radios, whether in vernacular, English or Kiswahili and otherwise, that in this time of the elections that we are going into, let us not use the radio in any negative way that will affect the lives of Kenyans and the lives of our citizens here today. Let us all be very conscious of that, and us as leaders, as we go out there to send out our message, let us not use the radio in any negative way. So thank you so much for that statement. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Just a reminder that it is simply short comments. The Senate Majority Leader, Senator Pogisu.
Madam Speaker, first of all, I'd like to congratulate Senator Musrube for reminding us of the World Radio Day, and Senator Kasanga for speaking for all of us for all the time. I think, Madam Speaker, that it's so fortunate that World Radio Day, which was pronounced in 2012, happened to have been the time when I was Minister for Information. And we understand that in 2011, the states under UNESCO agreed to pronounce a day, to give a day, which is the 13th of February, to be known as World Radio Day. And so much as the statement comes 4 days later, it is very important for us to remember that radio has come a long way. And Speaker, when I was growing up, I know that during our time, we didn't have access to radio. And radio was found in very few homes. And those homes were really probably homes which were well-to-do. But today, radio is everything, everywhere. It's in the devices that we have. The handheld devices now have radio. So it is, we've gone since then from shortwave radio to what we now call FM radio, which is very popular, which has allowed every community to have a radio station. And you're right, Madam Honorable Kasanga, to say that every community now has something in their wavelength or in their language, being able to communicate. So I'd like to use this opportunity to join the world community in recognizing radio. And this year's theme of radio and trust is very, very important, especially for us who are facing elections this year. Electioneering must be a moment to be cautious, all of us, not to allow radio to be used or misused. And so I want to call upon the Media Council and all those who are responsible. I want to use this opportunity to just say thank you and to wish all people a very profitable World Radio Day. I think it is going to be a World Radio season, because if it were a day, it will have passed. Thank you very much.
Senator Sakaja Johnson.
Madam Speaker, this is a good statement. I didn't know there's a World Radio Day. For many of us, every day is a World Radio Day, because radio is the most effective way through which we get to our people and through which we listen to them. In some of our counties that are extremely expansive in terms of population, Nairobi, for instance, has 4.9 million people, 2.5 million voters. The only way you can get through. You can't do enough road shows, go on tracks, town halls. You need radio. So I really acknowledge the role they play, not just in terms of information, but also entertainment. And that is the only point I want to make, Madam Speaker. As of today, media houses owe our musicians $500 million in unpaid royalties. $500 million. The creative sector is a serious economic frontier. We have many young people who take time in studios because of the talent we have. They produce songs. The songs are rotating. There's a rate card. But media houses, and for the last 2-3 years, have not been paying these royalties, Madam Speaker. I think this is something we must talk about, because that is all these musicians depend on, the work of their hands. These media houses are very quick to get money for advertising. They get money from their sponsors, but they're not relaying it back to the artists. I support the media completely. But there are certain things that we must talk about. Because if you look at many of our journalists today, on radio, on TV, the people out here in our media center, many of them were put on half pay, and it has not gone back despite the pandemic easing. So the only thing I would urge our media houses and the Communication Authority, please let us find a way to break down this money, even if it is in different installments, so that we can spur the economy. For one song to be produced, there's a producer, there's the artist, there's a sound technician, there's an engineer. There are a lot of people and their families that depend on these arts, that depend on that one song that you hear. So even as we enjoy it, let us remember that artist really requires something to reflect. In many countries, the creative sector is the biggest employer. If you look at Nigeria, the second highest employer is Nollywood after agriculture, yeah? Because the government has invested in the creative sector. They have invested. If you look at Bollywood in India, they have invested. The thing I want to urge our media houses, and I know this was a pledge by Jubilee, starting from TNA. We pledged, and I hope those who are running for presidency remember, because let's not just use our artists as token, that we want 60% local content on our radio stations and on our TV stations. Our radio stations must play Kenyan music. In fact, in Nigeria, for them to create that, huge economy in the creative, they said during the watershed period, that is between, I think, 7 a.m., was it 9 a.m. and 9 p.m., their local content quota is 90%. When they began, people said, where are we going to get the music? Where are we going to get the shows? But it spurred people to go and produce and to create. Right now, they are exporting. The richest people you find there, apart from the oil barons, are musicians and actors. We can do the same in this country. Let it not be because it's easier not to pay royalties for, foreign music, that in the morning, immediately you wake up, what you're hearing is music from the US, music from Nigeria. When you sit on your TV, you're watching Alejandro, you're watching Mexican soap operas. Get our young people, just go right now to KNT. You'll find many of them just sitting there with a lot of talent and their guitars. And that's why many are getting into drugs. So even as we upload radio, and I'm a big supporter of media and media freedom, let us please see how to partner in balance in terms of how they make sure that our artists, the creative economy, the creative sector, our performers get the value for the work that they're doing. I want to wish everybody in that sector a happy World Radio, International Radio Day. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Senator Munyihaji Mohamed Faki.
Asante Bispika kwa kunipa fursa hii pia kuitilia nguvu statement iliyoletwa na Senator Musruve kuhusiana na kusherehekea kwa siku ya redio ulimwenguni. Mheshimiwa Spika, redio inacheza mahali pakubwa katika mawasiliano katika nchi yetu na ulimwengu kwa jumla. Mheshimiwa Spika, hapo nyuma ilipokuwa redio yetu ilikuwa ni KBC peke yake, ni idhaa ya taifa ya Kenya peke yake, tulikuwa watu wengi wanapendelea kusikiza BBC, hususan ile habari ya saa 1 usiku na habari ya saa 1 asubuhi, ambapo tulikuwa tupata maelezo ama ripoti za Kenya zile ambazo redio za Kenya yenyewe zilikuwa haziwezi kuzungumzia. Kwa hiyo Mheshimiwa Spika, redio ndio imetumika pakubwa kuweza kutoa habari, vile vile pia kuelimisha watu. Mheshimiwa Kajwang jana alikuwa akizungumzia kipindi cha shule wakati fulani miaka ya 70, ambapo ilikuwa kinaanza na wimbo ule nilipokuwa kijana nilicheza na masomo. Na wengi tulikuwa tunasoma katika vipindi kama vile ambavyo vilikuwa vimeletwa ili kuelimisha jamii kwa jumla na vile vile kuelimisha wanafunzi ambao wako katika mashule. Kwa hiyo Mheshimiwa Spika, katika historia redio imecheza sehemu kubwa kabisa katika kuleta maendeleo, kuleta vile vile muamko na vile vile pia kusomesha watu na starehe pia kwa njia tofauti. Tunaona kwamba wengi wanapata fursa ya kupata burudani. Ukiwa uko kazini, unaweza kufungua redio yako wakati wa saa 4 mpaka saa 6 unapata burudani, wakati wa zamani wa KBC na redio nyingine ambazo kwa sasa ziko hewani. Kwa hiyo Mheshimiwa Spika, chombo cha redio kinacheza mchezo mkubwa sana katika mchakato wa maendeleo, mchakato wa siasa na vile vile pia mchakato wa maisha kwa jumla. Mheshimiwa Spika, wenzangu waliotangulia wamezungumzia kuhusiana na kutumika vibaya kwa redio. Ni kweli imewahi kutumika hapo nyuma na hatungependa kwenda sehemu hizo kwa wakati wa sasa ambapo tunaelekea katika mchakato wa kura kuu, uchaguzi mkuu ambao utafanyika tarehe 8 mwezi wa 8 mwaka huu. Lakini Mheshimiwa Spika, ni kwamba ni lazima chombo cha redio kitiliwe nguvu. Tumeona kwamba wasanii wengi wanaweza kutumia redio hizi ili kuleta sanaa zao katika watu kujua na kuweza kununua, yani kupeleka sokoni sanaa zao, lakini wengi Mheshimiwa Spika hawalipo. Utapata kwamba wale ambao wameweza kutunga nyimbo zao, wametunga mashairi yao Mheshimiwa Spika, yakaweza kuchezwa katika redio hizi, kwa sasa wanahangaika katika walindi la umaskini, lakini ile talanta yao ambao wameweza kuitumia kuleta vitu kama hivi ambavyo watu wanasikiza kwa wingi, nyimbo zinachezwa kwa wingi katika redio na sehemu zingine, lakini hawapati mapato kulingana na zile sanaa ambazo wameweza kufanya. Kwa hiyo Mheshimiwa Spika, tunapoangalia masuala haya, tunapoadhimisha siku hii, ni wakati mwafaka wa kuweza kutafakari ni vipi tutaweza kusaidia talanta nyingi ambazo ziko katika kila jamii hivi sasa nchini Kenya. Ukienda kila mahali hivi sasa, kama wewe ni mwanasiasa, utatungiwa wimbo wa jamii ile ambayo unaiwakilisha ama ile jamii ambayo ungependa kuwatumikia katika either bunge la county ama bunge la kitaifa, senate ama hata rais, wanakutungia nyimbo kulingana na ile jamii ambayo unataka. Kwa hivyo talanta hii Mheshimiwa Spika kwa katika kila jamii, na hivi sasa tumeona kwamba kuna redio nyingi za kitamaduni, traditional ama vernacular radios, ambazo zile zinachukua fursa kubwa ya kuweza kuelimisha jamii pia katika maeneo yake. Lakini Mheshimiwa Spika, ni kuonya tu kwamba hizi redio za kitamaduni ama za kienyeji zisitumike kuchochea wananchi, hususan wakati wa sasa ambao tunakwenda katika kura, kwa sababu hiyo itaondoa ama itajaribu kuvunja umoja wa nchi ambao sisi sote tunapigania tuwe na Kenya moja, tuwe watu wa moja, ili sote tuweze kusonga mbele kimaendeleo, kuliko kuigawanya nchi kikabila. Sisi tuko kabila fulani, tuko sehemu fulani, kwa hivyo sehemu hii haturuhusu mtu mwingine wa kabila nyingine kuja kusimama katika eneo letu na mambo kama hayo. Kwa hiyo Mheshimiwa Spika, tuwaonya tupate fursa kwamba ile Media Council iwe macho, hususan wakati huu wa sasa ambapo tunakwenda kwenye kura, kuhakikisha kwamba hizi redio za kienyeji hazitumiki vibaya katika mchakato wa kura. Asante Spika kunipa fursa hii.
Senator Masitsa Naomi Shionga.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, for giving me this opportunity to support the statement raised by my sister, Senator Msuruve, on the World Radio Day. It's good that you have reminded some of us. I'm in that category of those people who didn't know that today is a World Radio Day. And it's good to bring such a statement in this House in honor of us celebrating that the World Radio Day.
Senator, I think it's not today. Her statement has just come in a bit late. But the World Radio Day should be 13th.
I know it. Is it 14th? Was it 13th? 13th.
13th.
Yeah. And it's good that we are all informed of its importance. And Madam Speaker, I want just to say that World Radio Day is a very important day for us to celebrate. And not only celebrating, but also honoring it in what it has done into us using that medium of communication to reach the most important and local people at the lower level. Madam Speaker, the radio are not only medium of communication, but they also grow talents to our youth, they grow talents to our communities, for us even to discover those talents, those small and vibrant talents that grow up within an individual. Most of these individuals are using radios. So I want to say that let us continue celebrating radio stations. Let us continue celebrating radio as a medium of communication. And it is very important that we all note that even us as legislators, we use radio mostly to reach our campaign, to reach our voters, to educate our voters, and to make sure that the vote that we are given during elections, it is through this medium that we are able to communicate with our electorates. They are the ones that, the radios are the ones that enable us reach those citizens. Mr. Speaker, Madam Speaker, I want also to say that radio is very important, especially at this, during this time of digital, whereby when I want to listen to radio, I do not need to go to my home to listen to the radio. It has gone further into implementing the same through the modern medium, or even through the phone calls, cell phone, sorry, that you can switch on your phone and you switch on to that medium and you look for the content, you look for the radio station that you want, and you listen to it without wasting a lot of time or without any delay. So it is a very important gadget that is enabling us reach or get information in the real time without any delay. So I want just to appreciate Senator Musurube that it is good to remind us, and it is good that you have enabled us and realized that World Radio Day is celebrated, and it is a unique ability to reach the widest audience in the Republic of Kenya, not only Republic of Kenya, across the board. Everyone listens to the radio. Even if I want to listen to my radio and the waves or the wavelength then allows me, even if I'm in any corner of this world, I'm able to listen to what is happening in my community. I'm able to listen to what is happening in my country. I'm able to be updated through this medium. So I join you into celebrating the World Radio Day, and it is good that we recognize it as Kenyans, and even internationally, the Radio World Day or World Radio Day is recognized. I want to thank you, Madam Speaker, and I support the statement. Thank you.
Senator Cherargei Samson.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, for this opportunity. I think media freedom has come a long way, and part of the well-celebrated 2010 Constitution is media freedom that has been enshrined under Article 34 and 35 of the Constitution of Kenya. Madam Speaker, radio plays a critical role, and I think now they have gone online. It is now digital. You can listen in. And I agree it has more coverage than individuals. And all of us in the political arena appreciate the fact that that radio is a more useful tool, because it can be used for information. It can be used also to ensure we disseminate information, Madam Speaker. And therefore, I really want to thank Senator Musurube and appreciate yesterday, Madam Speaker, the other day, I was reading, there is this famous artist who died in 2003, Wahome Mutai. It's called The Whispers. And when you read that, way back, I think around late 80s, he was arrested then by the then government, because the government was against the media freedom. So when you look at the history of media freedom, and he used to use satire to critique the government of the day, to pass the message to the people. So I think media, by and large, is very critical. More so the radios that we have nowadays, there is a lot of media freedom. We have vernacular radio stations. I don't know whether it will increase issues of tribal aspirations. Nowadays, we have even ghetto radios that speak in street language. You have the mainstream radio stations that have always been there. I think the point is that even as we approach the general election, Madam Speaker, we request that CAK, Commissioner Authority of Kenya, should be on a lookout to ensure that no one uses radio to spread hate or to incite Kenyans against each other. I think radio stations should play a critical role, Madam Speaker, by ensuring that they become part of ensuring, calling out Kenyans to vote, to participate as their civic duty, but also to remain peaceful. Second and finally, Madam Speaker, is on the aspect of our artists. You know, most airwaves radio stations depend, I think by and large 60% to 70% of the radio programs that we have, Madam Speaker, depend largely on the music. But unfortunately, as a country, and I agree with my brother, say that at least 60% should be local content. When you open the radio station, when you watch the TV, they only, either you will listen for rain music, or you will watch for rain Mexican soap operas, or Nigerian movies, or any other, but there is no local content, Madam Speaker. The only way to create opportunities, the only way to ensure young people are engaged is by coming up with 60%. I know the practitioners in media, be it radio stations and television networks and online networks, will say, where will we get the 60% songs that we can play content? Where will we get the local telenovelas, Madam Speaker? I think for the Magic, there is a TV called Magic something. I don't know. It is in DSTV, I think number 263, thereabout. It really tries to, Magic Africa, it tries to put local, although it involves more of Eastern African movies. I think that is what we should encourage, so that the young people who go to Kenya Cinema to practice, the young people who go to studios to play their music. Madam Speaker, it is very unfortunate that when you want to listen to music, you turn on your television, you turn on your radio, all the music that you listen are either from abroad, Europe or America, or Nigeria, or Tanzania here, our neighbors. They have very good music, but I think the Kenyan music can become more better by ensuring, because most of the people sometimes like listening to bongo flavor. When we have genge, we have ghetto. I know Senator Getua is familiar with this, because most likely on Fridays he listens to it more often when he's on a reverend. So, Madam Speaker, what I want to say is that it can be possible to ensure that we have local content. It can be possible to put local content in the radio. So I really want to thank Senator Msuruve and wish a belated radio all the best. And she's been very active, Madam Speaker, and wish her well. I know she might be running for MP of Lugari, so we want to wish her well, Madam Speaker, and say I agree and wish that we protect the media freedom. That is what we can as a country. I thank you, Madam Speaker.
Senator Mary Yene.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, for also giving me a chance to congratulate my friend, Senator Gertrude Msuruve, for reminding us the very important Radio Day. Radio, Madam Speaker, has for many years been used for accessibility of information and an affordable way of getting information. When we were growing up, many of us did not have TVs, neither our parents did not have the TVs in the houses, but they used to get a lot of information from radios. And therefore, radios have really remained very relevant as a media, a way of getting information. I just want to say that radio, as a way of getting information, should give the public right information, relevant information, important information, and especially issues to do with the social growth of the communities, issues to do with economic growth. The radio should really emphasize on programs that can assist our youth, our communities on how to grow their economy. Of course, bottom-up model. I wish the radio can also take a chance to really assist our people in terms of getting information, to be able to emphasize on programs that can grow them. Madam Speaker, radios have also remained an affordable way of getting information, rather than the cell phones, where you need to have airtime, you need to charge your phone, using electricity, of course, which is also another expensive way to sustain your medium of communication. But radios have really been affordable for the community. And therefore, if we can build up, make it more creative, make it more relevant in terms of helping Kenyans, in terms of helping the world in growing ideas in social aspects. At times I listen, Madam Speaker, to these radio programs in the morning when I'm preparing to get out of the house. And some of them have really tried to enrod our systems, our social fabric in terms of kind of criticizing marriage, in kind of criticizing every other time, instead of helping us to pass information that are important in terms of instilling social values to our young generation, emphasizing social life, emphasizing family life, emphasizing education, emphasizing production in terms of agriculture, in terms of all other means of production in the country. And therefore, I think the radio as a media of way of communication should improve its content. It should improve its content. It should also live with technology. It should also be creative. Otherwise, I really wish Senator Musrufe well. She has been a very, very active member of this House in terms of even reminding us to celebrate other institutions. Thank you.
We move to the next statement by Senator Abshiro Halake. Not there. That one is dropped. And then we move to statements pursuant to Standing Order 48-1. Senator Isaac Ngugi.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I rise pursuant to Standing Order 48-1 to seek a statement from the Standing Committee on Education regarding the status of the Kenya Engineering Technology Registration Board, KETRAB. In the statement, the committee should, number one, state the reason or reasons for non-reconstitution of the KETRAB more than 2 years after the term of the first board ended on 24th October 2019. 2, elucidate on when a new board will be appointed to enable execution of its mandate as outlined in Clause 5 of the Engineering Technology Act 2016. Number 3, explain the rationale behind placing the said board under the Ministry of Education, whereas other similar boards which regulate professionals who work in conjunction with KETRAB, such as Engineers Board of Kenya, EBK, Kenya Roads Board, KRB, and the Board of Registration of Architects and Quantity Surveyors, BORAX, are all under the Ministry of Transport, Infrastructure, Housing, Urban Development, and Public Works. And number 5, outline the measures put in place by the Ministry of Education, if any, to ensure that the activities of KETRAB are funded by the government in order to ease the burden on members and effectively regulate the practice of engineering technology in the country. Thank you.
Short comments for 3 minutes. Senator Gertrude Musuruve.
Thank you, Speaker. I want to thank Senator Ngugi for coming up with this statement because engineering is a specialized course and it doesn't need to stop. I'm aware, the Honorable Speaker, that there are a number of universities that offer engineering, which is a very salient course in this country. And even as we talk about engineering, this board being reconstituted, Honorable Speaker, there's need to ensure that it is also composed of females also. There's need to interrogate the number of women on this board, Honorable Speaker. Just recently, we were celebrating the World Women's Science Day, and the world is towards encouraging women to do engineering subjects and all that, Honorable Speaker. So even as you talk about funding on engineering, Honorable Speaker, there's need for the government also to ensure that it is encouraging women who are taking up engineering courses and funding them. And not only funding them, but ensuring that once they complete their courses, they're also employed so that they get attracted to, STEM subjects, Honorable Speaker. I support this statement, and when it comes to our committee, I want to assure the Senator that we'll do the best we can in education to ensure that the composition of the board is actually constituted, and it is also gender sensitive in terms of the composition, Honorable Speaker. I support.
Senator Cherargei Samson.
Madam Speaker, I want to support the statement by Senator Isaac Ngugi, and I want to thank him for standing with hustlers, because I know most of the young people really need this certification. And I agree with him that the one point I just want to emphasize is that most of the professional bodies are regulated under the specific ministries. And I hope when the Minister of Education appear, should tell the Senate of the Republic of Kenya or Parliament, why is it that this was taken under the Ministry of Education? Because naturally, professional bodies are managed under specific, like he has highlighted, like Kenya Roads Board, among other agencies that are under within that parent ministry. So I really want to emphasize that it should be relooked at. I don't know whether it was because of policy or what have you. Second and finally, it is shocking, and all, Madam Speaker, I want to appeal that that we relook at, Madam Speaker, government agencies are funded by taxpayers' money. And this can form ground of even impeachment, because how can the board stay without being reconstituted within 2 years? It looks like the ministry or the minister in charge of education, I don't know, it's called Professor Magua or somebody, that needs, Madam Speaker, I don't know what is wrong with the majority whip. I don't know what is our problem. Is that what I'm just emphasizing is it is the dereliction of duty. And therefore, it must answer for 2 years, Madam Speaker. Yet we resource and finance those government agencies to function. This is our money. These are legislative things that have been put in place, Madam Speaker. So I hope when the minister appears, I hope when Senator Gitua will appear before the
Senator
committee.
Faria, you have an intervention.
Ensure that
Order, Senator Cherargei.
Madam Speaker, since my
Order,
time
Senator
is up,
Cherargei. Senator Faria has something to say. Senator Faria.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, for giving me this opportunity. Madam Speaker, is it in order for Senator Cherargei to belittle a whole CS who is old enough to be his father, who is a very respectable professor in this country? Is that in order? I think Senator Cherargei should have at least little respect for his elders. I mean, we can criticize people, but at least let's be a bit more respectful.
Senate Majority Leader. Senator Sakaja.
Madam Speaker, I think we shouldn't use this platform and this privilege to, really speak in a disdainful manner to people who are not in this house. Madam Speaker, my former VC, and good friend, Professor Magoha, who we worked very closely with when I was a student leader at the university. He's a very respectable man. He's done a lot in education. In as much as there could be a question as to why this has not been done, I think we should not impute, improper motive or try to belittle someone of that stature. CS Magoha is a great, great Kenyan. Madam Speaker, I think that statement should be withdrawn. That is not the tone or the language of the Senate. The Senate is a respectable house. And the reason why cabinet secretaries actually always come to Senate when we call them, at least my committee, is because they know even if there's an issue, it's dealt with respectfully. So I'll ask my colleague in Kenya Kwanza, because that's also not the language. We've brought a new vibe in Kenya Kwanza. That is not the language we want. Please withdraw that and apologize to the good CS Magoha, but let him come and give us answers. And I have something to say on that as well, Madam Speaker. Can I proceed? Can I now proceed? Well,
Senator Cherargei, I want to hear from you on the concerns by the senators.
Madam Speaker, I think my statement is being blown out of context. What I just asked was why the CS dereliction of duty, yet for the last 2 years, he should have formed the board. That's what I just said. I didn't speak it in a disrespectful manner. I just said, and I don't know why the deputy majority whip is excited. Even if you want to show the government you are doing your job, you don't need to behave in a manner likely to say. So, Madam Speaker, I just requested that, why was the dereliction of duty? I don't, Senator, my colleague in Kenya Kwanza, Senator, an incoming governor of Nairobi, has put it very well, that Professor Magoha is a efficient man. But on this one, there is dereliction of duty, because it is 2 years they have not formed the board. I thought that is dereliction of duty, Madam Speaker. It was my opinion.
Senator,
it was made in bad faith.
Senator Cherargei, it is how you described him. It's not the duties you are talking about. I heard you right, and the answer will reflect. You said, I don't know what is called or something, No, so I think you need to apologize to a senior member of this country and give him the correct.
No, I apologize to Kenyans that I think it is judicially aware that the CS for Education is, the last time we were in government, it was still Professor Magoha, so I hope he's still the one. So I apologize if I misled the House, that he's still not the CS.
Senate Majority Leader.
Madam Speaker, if the chair allows Senator Cherargei to be selective on how he apologizes, he's apologizing on something different. And he should have actually withdrawn the statement about Magoha. And did you also hear, Madam Speaker, how the Senator for Nandi spoke about a distinguished deputy whip, that all she's saying is trying to impress somebody? I mean, that is also not fair, Madam Speaker. And I think Cherargei, in his final year, should really getting more serious than he is. And I really count on you, Madam Speaker, to make sure that he's held accountable to some of his wit and words that he wants to spend. On that note, I am now going to give my statement.
Senator Pogisio, you have raised another issue on the Senate majority whip. Senator Cherargei, I think you need to just respect the members of this House, as well as respect those that are not out, that are out here, that are not in this House. And if you have to talk about the CS Magoha, then you have to be making a substantive motion on that effect. But if you're talking about the Senate majority whip in that manner, then you also need to withdraw.
Madam Speaker, withdraw on the part where I used the name Professor Makoa. So I withdraw on that. But on the second part of my deputy majority whip, when I say to impress someone, it could be to impress Kenyans that is working. I thought that is not an offense. Or impress where she comes from, or the voters, or impress the majority leader. You know, when you work, you impress your voters, so I made it in good faith. It shows that she's working. So I don't need to withdraw on that one, really, Madam Speaker, but on the part of Professor Magoa, I withdraw and apologize unreservedly.
Senate Majority Leader. Senate Majority Leader, I thought you are going to comment on the statement by Isaac Ngugi. Then let us move to Senator Kajwang Moses Otieno. 3 minutes for each of you.
Madam Speaker, I rise to support the statement by Senator Ngugi IG, a senator who has taken his role very naturally and very quickly. Mr. Speaker, I want to pray that even in the next Senate, Senator Ngugi will get an opportunity to at least serve some 5 years in the Senate on behalf of the young people of Kenya. I've just been reflecting on why engineering technologists require a different legal framework from other engineers. And Madam Speaker, I know many of us are debating or contributing to this without fully understanding who engineering technologists are. But then, Madam Speaker, if you look at the Engineering Technologists Act, the definition of engineering technology is the most convoluted definition you'd find in any act of parliament. If you read it, it is a definition that is one paragraph that has almost 96 words in one paragraph. So this definition was definitely done by an engineer who did not have skills to make things easy and to make life easy. But I do support Senator Githua's proposal that we find ways of placing engineering technologists under the same ministry where the other engineers are regulated. And Madam Speaker, I do not think that engineering technologists are any lesser than engineers. Everyone has got unique skills. Everyone has got unique responsibilities. You cannot say that a civil engineer is so important that a plumber or a mason should not be regulated by the same body. If I was to be asked, and I've seen engineers like Ephraim Maina have come in, if I was to be asked, I would perhaps say that the Engineers Board and the act that provides for the Engineers Board should be the same act that provides for engineering technologists. But I know that the professionals have got reasons for this, and I do hope that the good Professor Magoa, when he comes to the House, that Senator Cherargei will be civil and he will allow Professor Magoa to explain why this board has not been constituted. I support, Madam Speaker.
Senator Mwaura online. Senator Mwaura, can you hear us?
Madam Speaker, I think it's very important for
Senator Mwaura?
Yes, I can hear you. I can hear you, Madam Speaker.
We can't hear you. We can't hear you.
Madam Speaker, I can hear you.
Your volume?
My volume is high. Can you hear me now?
That's a bit better.
Madam Speaker?
Yes.
Yeah, so I want to contribute to this statement and really say that there seems to be a clear difference between the classification of real engineers and the technologists, and even the bill that was passed in the 11th Parliament concerning their own registration, in terms of the operationalization, I
don't know what is happening to your volume. We can't hear you clearly.
Oh, okay then, Madam Speaker, because I can't do much from my end. I thought I'm audible enough.
We are seeing part of your face. And okay, now that's better, but we need to hear you.
Okay, Madam Speaker, I want to say that I support...
Yes, Senate, there is a point of order from Senate Majority Leader.
Madam Speaker, yeah? Yeah, I don't know what's happening. Where is Senator Mwaura? Like, Madam Speaker, yesterday, Senator Mwaura was ruled out of order by the chair. By the way he was dressed yesterday, he hasn't changed much about his hat and, and about, you see, Madam Speaker. So we would like to see him fully so you can see if he's properly dressed. And then, Madam Speaker, you can rule if it's order. That hat was refused yesterday. He was asked to go back and dress appropriately. Maybe you can do the same.
Senator Mwaura, have you heard the intervention by Senate Majority Leader on your dress code?
Madam Speaker, I'm properly dressed. I have my hat on, and I don't think there's any prescription for what kind of hat I'm supposed to be wearing, because this one is supposed to help me with the sun and also the light. So I really don't know whether the leader of majority, really the point of order is in order, because for me, I am properly dressed. And this is all the same thing that happened to me, Madam Speaker, yesterday. I was ready to prosecute the Persons with Disabilities Bill. I had to wait for the whole day, and I didn't prosecute it, purely on account of the hat that I was wearing. And surely that's not fair.
Yes, just hold on, Senator Mwaura, be online.
Yes, yeah. So
I need to look at my standing orders on this one.
Yeah, I need to say clearly that there is a discrimination between the so-called real engineers and the technologists, and the minister needs to come and clarify exactly in terms of qualifications what needs to be done so that then they can be at par, or even in terms of qualifications there can be some kind of aggravated hierarchy.
Order, Senator Mwaura. Order, Senator Mwaura. I can't hear you.
Can you hear me now, Madam Speaker? Madam Speaker, are you able to hear me?
Just hold on, Senator Mwaura.
Yeah, so I was saying that because of that, then it is important that this statement be properly canvassed.
Senator Mwaura, you can't hear me. I need to rule as to whether you are properly dressed before this house. So just hold on.
Aye, this is not fair. This is how he dresses all the time.
Senator Mwaura, I can't hear you well. I need to move to the next person as I make a ruling on whether you are properly dressed.
Madam Speaker, this is really not fair at all. I mean, I have explained myself why I wear this hat. It's because of the light.
You have explained. I need to make a ruling on that. There is an objection.
Okay.
Senator Farhia, please proceed. Senator Kasanga Sylvia.
Mike, thank you. Thank you, Madam Speaker. I want to thank Senator Ngugi for this statement and for him representing our young people out there in the profession, in the built environment profession. And, I just want to say that our professionals need to realize that they have people here in Parliament to fight for them. A lot of times, we don't take it seriously. When we are in the professional field, we live in a bubble, and we don't realize that we need to know who is in Parliament and who can help us. And this is good for Senator Ngugi to bring this statement. I was just sharing this here with the Senator of Homa Bay here. I don't know why he didn't want to acknowledge that we were discussing this and trying to figure out who are engineering technologists, and we got the information. And indeed, the diplomas and certificates in our country form the majority of our young people post-secondary school education, and they need to be supported. And this is the body of professionals, young people, who support the other professionals. Madam Speaker, I need some protection, please, from a lot of noise.
Yes, proceed, Senator Kasanga.
So I am saying that these young people in certificates and in diplomas they form the majority of post-secondary school education students, and they need to be supported. So it is shocking that our students of engineering technologies have finished their studies in diploma and certificates, and they're still hanging out there because they can't get jobs for lack of certification and the requirements that they need for them to be able to secure a job. So I want to thank Senator Ngugi for
Senator
this statement.
Sakaja, order Senator Kasanga. Let's hear from Senator Kasanga's
Madam Speaker,
intervention.
I've tried to tolerate this, but it's too difficult. Senator Kajwang is too close to Senator Kasanga. I don't mind the gentleman here, but we have COVID rules, and the chairs are marked sit here. Is Senator Kajwang in order to be that close? And is really distracting Senator Kasanga. In fact, she's not usually smiling like this. She's too enthusiastic. Madam Speaker, please, we need order. Please rule. The gentleman on my left, it's okay. But that side,
I think you're being discriminative, Senator Sakaja, because there are three gentlemen seated next to each other, but you only single out Senator Kasanga. If it is COVID rules, it applies to all of us. So can we abide by the rules for everybody? Yes, Senator Pogisio.
Madam Speaker, just to get back to the point of Senator Mwaura. Madam Speaker, if it may help, that you have a special exemption.
I am yet to rule on that.
Now that we understand his situation, if he's somewhere campaigning in the sun, he's stopped by the wayside to make his comments. Because when he was there, we were hearing vehicles and ambulances and things like that. So, but I think given your capacity and power, some of these things can be exempted. I do understand. I'm not raising the issue out of order. I'm raising the issue because there's a dress code. But since you have the powers to rule, you can actually do that. Thank you.
Maybe let me just conclude on that so that we go back to Senator Kasanga's. Having looked at the rules, if Senator Mwaura was dressed like that in this house, then we would have ruled him out of order and that he was not properly dressed. But Senator Isaac Mwaura is out there in the sun. We understand his condition, which is albinism, and he's therefore properly dressed for purposes of outside dressing in the sun. If he was in here, it would have been something different. So we need to appreciate that he has explained why he's dressed in the manner that he's dressed. So he's properly dressed. So we will be asking Senator Mwaura to come back after Senator Kasanga has finished so that we can hear him on his. And to Senator Mwaura, kindly please also adjust your volume so that when you come back, we'll be able to hear you. Senator Kasanga.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I was just winding up my comments to Senator Ngugi's statement that indeed our young people who are post-secondary school education doing their diplomas and their certificates need to be supported because they are actually a large population of post-secondary school education students. And before I sit down, I can invite the good senator of Nairobi. If at all he wants to join us here to caucus, he doesn't have to be worried or anything like that. He's welcome to join us. Thank you.
Senator Sakaja may as well now make his comments on this statement.
Madam Speaker, Senator Kasanga's invitation is noted. And my dismay was also on the record. But Kajwang will have to move. I will not join when he's still there. It will not work. Madam Speaker, I want to thank my mentee, Senator Githua, for the work he's doing and for really being a voice of the people he's representing. I was first nominated to Parliament to represent the youth, and there's a blessing when you speak for those who are vulnerable and for our generation. Madam Speaker, I want to say two things. One, it is unfortunate when the government puts unnecessary hurdles to our young people. We're dealing with a huge problem of unemployment. It's the greatest challenge in this country. The biggest threat to our security as it is, Madam Speaker, is not Al-Shabaab, it is not terrorists, it is unemployed, disillusioned young people who are out there and are not seeing a government that is going out of its way proactively to actually help them find jobs. If for 2 years, anybody who has that certification, or rather that qualification, cannot get a certificate, it means they cannot get hired. It means they cannot get job opportunities. Madam Speaker, when I led my committee to the Middle East, the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, and you know, the United Arab Emirates, what they told us there, first of all, they love Kenyans. There's 88,000 Kenyans working there. Unfortunately, some have gone through a lot of harrowing experiences in domestic workers. But they have been asking Kenya for a BLA, a bilateral labor agreement on skilled workers. They want engineers, they want doctors, they want cobblers, they want masons, they want electricians, because they're building a new city. And in that new city, the potential for jobs is another 1 million people, and they prefer Kenyans. Our government has been dragging its feet in signing the BLA between Kenya and Saudi Arabia, yet we cannot provide jobs here. We are actually a country that is seen as a labor exporter. Madam Speaker, this country doesn't have oil. I don't know, the experiment that happened in Turkana hasn't yielded much. We don't have gold. We don't have, our biggest resource is not under the ground, it's above the ground. It's our people. To show that a government is actually sluggish or unwilling to facilitate these people who have gone to school, they have paid fees, they have done everything, but they cannot get accreditation, is extremely unfortunate. So I hope my friend and my former VC, Professor Magoha, when he comes, he can be able to explain that. Madam Speaker, in conclusion, because we've asked these questions, first of all, that matter was supposed to be under CS Macharia, because he's the one who deals with that sector. I don't know how it was moved, Senator Githua. There's something that is sitting on CS Macharia's table, and I've tried to communicate to him today. He's told me to talk to his PS. Madam Speaker, we brought the issue of digital taxi workers, Uber, Bolt. We agreed on regulations because there is a minimum amount that should be set in terms of the fees. These people are complaining. They are suffering. Madam Speaker, I know they are soon going to go on strike if you don't have those regulations passed. Madam Speaker, and I know you know about this issue. You were recently called by a colleague who was asking where this thing reached. The Committee on Delegated Legislation must tell us where these regulations have reached. The ministry is trying to engage consultants. I told the consultants for what? We just need to agree on a pricing formula that takes into account fuel, takes into account wear and tear, takes into account, car wash, and all of these other variables. And AA of Kenya, I've been fighting this thing from 2015. AA of Kenya, the Automobile Association, already has a template. So the CS, all it needs to do, because I know the app companies have a problem with the commission. When you enter an Uber, immediately 25% goes to the Netherlands. But the drivers who have even spoken to today are saying, okay, we can leave that commission, but we agree on a minimum pricing formula. Because today, when they set a good rate, you'll take a taxi from here to the airport and pay 600 shillings, honestly, in traffic, and you know the cost of fuel. But they're saying when one company sets a good rate that is good for the customer and for the drivers, the other company now lowers their rate, and it's a race to the bottom. These people are suffering. Please, Madam Speaker, ask the Committee on Delegated Legislation to tell us where these regulations are. They need to be gazetted within the week. And I know everybody who's representing young people and hustlers, because these drivers are all hustlers. They're hustling. Senator Muranga, you know, recently, I know a friend who sent, and now he's a competitor, he sent an Uber to Muranga, and it was 1,200 shillings. What is that? The reason we have so many accidents on the road is that they're driving for 24 hours because they cannot pay their loans. 4,000 of these taxis were being auctioned last year, January. And those who went to take them from the auction were going to put them back to do Uber business, Madam Speaker. So please, it's a matter of national importance and urgency that CS Macharia needs to address, and our Committee on Delegated Legislation. Thank you so much.
Yes, I sit in the Delegated Legislation Committee, and I'm aware that the chair is aware of the concerns, and he'll definitely, he was here, but I can see he's not here, but he's not here now, but I'm sure he will take it up and to report back. But being a member of that committee, I'll follow up. Now, Senator Ongeri Samson.
Thank you,
Senator Irungu Kangata, you've not requested to speak, so
thank
can
you,
you do the
Madam
necessary
Speaker,
to be able to speak?
for giving me this opportunity to also add up to what Senator Isaac Ngugi Githua has brought to our attention in this Senate. One of the things that I've noticed is the non-establishment of the board for Kenya Engineering Technology Registration Board. In the professional categories, these are the people who are post-secondary education, and some of them may have been post-KCPE and went through the middle-level colleges, particularly the Institutes of Technology and also the other polytechnics that have been established in the earlier years when I was the Minister for Technology and Applied, the Minister for Applied Technology and Applied Technology, of Science and Applied Technology. One of the reasons why these boards were established is because I realized there was a majority of the young Kenyans who had attained certain cadre of professional training. They were not graduates, but they had gone through the certification process, and therefore we needed to be able to grade them and be in a particular level and hence be regulated. And this is why the boards were being set up. That's why the Act was set up. For instance, we have the technologies in the equivalent of in the Ministry of Health. You have technologies who are health technicians, those who are health, who are laboratory technicians, those who are pharmaceutical, pharmacology technologists, many others who are known, who had not reached the graduate level, but through the skill upgrading and through training, through vocational and technical training institutions, have acquired a certain level of standards to be certified that they can practice and work under a profession and under a particular board of the management. And this is what has happened in this board. I believe this was an offshoot of the original Kenya Polytechnic, which I turned into the Technology University of Nairobi. And therefore, these people, and I'm not surprised that it's domiciled under the Ministry of Education, because originally the Kenya National Polytechnic was under the Ministry of Education. I'm the one who will process it to the university level, and they have reached that level. So I think what is important here is that these people must be regulated, because if they are practicing unregulated, they are a disaster to society. And I think that's the main point that Senator Ngugi is trying to bring to our attention, that regulation is critical. If you get a quack practicing as a technologist and has no certification and is not qualified, then we're in danger of many other professional level, and that's why this board must be in place. I thank you, Madam Speaker, for this attention.
Senator Isaac Mwaura.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, I want to join my colleagues in expressing my concerns about the fact that this bill...
we can't see your face, and your volume has to be up.
Can you hear me now, Madam Speaker?
Yes, not so bad.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Madam Speaker. I think I want to say that it is true, the issue of regulations in terms of the technology bill is very important.
But did you hear the ruling we made on the dressing?
Yes, I had the ruling, and thank you very much, Madam Speaker.
Okay, then proceed.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, so I want to say that that bill, the move by my friend Isaac Ngugi, my namesake, who is interestingly was nominated somehow surprisingly to replace the name Isaac in the Senate, but anyway, now we have two Isaacs. It's a very good move because the young people are being discriminated. For you to work as an engineer, it becomes a very big problem because of certification. And there is some kind of cartelism that is happening with our engineers because they don't want their area to be populated with people. Yet, actually, Madam Speaker, if you ask any senator here in a construction site, the people who get to do the job are these technologies. They are more practical, they are not theorists, and they are able to deliver the work at a much lower cost. So there's a whole issue of payment and undercutting. But then, of course, it does not preclude the fact that an engineering firm can get all the works and have the technologies to do the job. So that is the politics around it. And the former women rep, I think for Bomet, if I'm not wrong, is the one who sponsored this bill. So it's long overdue that we have the regulations put in place. I think the minister in charge needs to be given, to be summoned to come and explain why is it that this has not been done with regards to empowering young people. And, Madam Speaker, we all know for sure that this country belongs to the young people. They are the majority. They are the ones who are hustling out there. They are the ones who are doing the donkey work. And even when you look at even other professions like law, it's the same old thing. The older lawyers do not want to have young entrants who are really highly underpaid. So I think these regulations are going to operationalize the act and ensure that we have more people on board. And in any case, Madam Speaker, it helps the country in the long run because then you have substandard buildings collapsing and people losing property and life and property. Then this also then brings into the ambit all of the people who would otherwise qualify, who would be seen as quacks, to be superintended by this, technologies bill. So I think, Madam Speaker, I support and I want to congratulate Isaac Ngugi for bringing this, this issue at hand, because that is what the special seats in the Parliament, in this case the Senate, are supposed to represent, so that the young people can feel that they are represented. Otherwise, Madam Speaker, there are so many other bills that have been passed by this House, but they are still, lying in shelves. They are not been, their life has not been put into it. Maybe we need to ask, in terms of the procedure of legislation, that we don't have to wait for regulations for a bill to take effect. As long as it has been assented to, it needs to take effect immediately. Let the regulations follow. Madam Speaker, I support.
Senator Milgo, 3 minutes, please.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, for this chance to support this statement. First of all, let me thank Senator Senator Ngugi for bringing this statement. This is a very important statement. It's coming to my committee, and I know my committee will get to the bottom of this. But I want to say in the onset that maybe the critical issue that is in this statement is the fact that reconstitution of the board is long overdue. But I want to say, Madam Speaker, that the fact that this particular board is domiciled in the Ministry of Education earlier on came as a result of the fact that there were very many people offering courses in technology right across the country, just like teaching profession. There were private colleges offering teacher training courses. And when it came to the actual registration by the Teacher Service Commission, it was noted that those teachers were not qualified, Madam Speaker. And people trained on technology were also so many. There were various courses, colleges that had come up to train technologists, engineers in various certificates, and some of them were not up to standard. And in this case, the Ministry of Education had to bring this particular board to come under it so that they are able to actually ascertain, maintain the standard, ascertain its quality, so that before actually offering registration certificates, these people are actually deemed to be the right kinds of people. We've had, Madam Speaker, a number of structures that collapsed after being constructed. Some of the buildings that have gone up to as high as 5-story buildings, sometimes injuring people, have been done by very shorty people that got their certificates under very shorty conditions. So, Madam Speaker, I'm sure before even this board is reconstituted, we need clear regulations so that we ensure that those people that are going to be registered are the qualified people to be able to actually do the job as per the standards. Otherwise, Madam Speaker, because this statement is still coming to my committee, we will be able to do proper research and bring the proper report to this particular house. Thank you, Madam Speaker. I support this statement.
We move to the next statement. That is a statement by Sylvia Kasanga.
Madam Speaker, if you just allow me a few minutes before I read my statement, because today, if we were supposed to have a meeting with the Committee of Health on a statement I raised in June last year, whose report had finally come. And if we had had the meeting today, then I would have had to drop this statement because the issues I raise here are similar to what I had raised in last year, but the statement had gone unanswered for so long, and today, whereas we were supposed to have a meeting with the CS, he didn't show up without an excuse. And I just want to register my frustration, Madam Speaker, because the things that we are dealing with here, mental health issues in the country, are things that are supposed to be taken very seriously, considering we've been having this conversation in this House to begin with from 2018. The government is fully seized of the situation in the country. Kenyans right now are suffering mentally. The suicide cases have increased exponentially, and yet we are still having boardroom conversations. The minister is not even appearing at committee to answer and give progress on mental health interventions to our people, to the counties, and at national level. So it's very frustrating, Madam Speaker, but I'll go ahead and read this statement in the hope that we can get some faster answers and Kenyans can get faster relief when it comes to matters mental health. Madam Speaker, I rise pursuant to Standing Order 48-1 to seek a statement from the Standing Committee on Health regarding the provision of mental health and psychosocial services in the counties. In the statement, the committee should address the following: explain the status of provision of mental health and psychosocial services to Kenyans across the country, given the allegations that those seeking healthcare across the country are a staggering one quarter have mental health conditions. And number two, outline the measures that other 46 counties have put in place, if any, to ensure there is communication and creation of awareness regarding county health facilities that offer mental health and psychosocial support services, including informing the public where to seek those services, akin to the Nairobi Metropolitan Services publication of 32 health facilities offering these services in the city, counties, facilities. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
I will allow just short comments from only two senators because our time for statements is over. So if we could have Senator Irungu 3 minutes and then shall be followed by Senator Samson Ongeri. 3 minutes each because we need to move to the next agenda.
Madam Chair. Yes, Madam Chair, I rise to support the statement by the dear Senator. Madam Speaker, this country called Kenya has a major health crisis. The counties are not investing sufficiently on matters health. Madam Speaker, I strongly believe that counties should be properly resourced to ensure, for instance, we have more level 5 hospital. I come from a place called Murang'a County. We have only one level 5 hospital in a population of about 1 million Kenyans. And therefore, and when you look at that hospital, it was established way back about 50 years ago. It is time in Murang'a we have new level 5 hospital so that we ensure the growing population health needs are well catered for, including mental health issues. When you go to Murang'a level 5 hospital, it has one ward that deals with mental health. I strongly believe that if we were to expand those services by establishment of a new level 5 hospital, preferably at a highly urbanizing region like Keno Town, we will definitely be able to serve better the entire Murang'a County and also the people adjoining that town called Keno Town. Madam Speaker, mental health is a major concern, particularly when you look at young people who are currently abusing drugs. Also, the genetics element into it, where people get that condition for no fault on their part. And therefore, it is time we increase the number of professions who can definitely help us remedy the problem of mental health. But at the bottom line, Madam Speaker, is youth unemployment, youth loss of hope, which we would definitely be able to cater for if we were to create more job employments so that we reduce instances of mental illness. I therefore rise to support the proposed statement, but also in particular urge governors to put more resources in establishment of more health cares and also good payment and the remuneration of our health services workers. They include doctors, nurses, and other paramedics. Madam Speaker, we have the Abuja Declaration, which say that at least 15% of the entire country's GDP should be channeled towards health. Currently, we are doing about 6 or 7%, which is way below the Abuja Declaration. We are happy that we passed the NHIF amendment, which can increase the health coverage. Thank you.
Senator Ongeri Samson.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. This is a very important question that has been raised by Senator Sylvia Kasanga, and I think I must define this position. Mental health or psychosocial support does not require that you become domiciled in a hospital bed. I think that's the concept that we must demystify. All we are saying that these are all positive social development attitudes when you are able to visit your doctor or health worker in a clinic, in a place, and have a dialogue and a discussion with that individual. You are able to develop the relationship, the relational ability between a doctor or a nurse or a psychologist with a patient who comes to seek support. Social stability or social support, it does even extend to the spiritual support. It's so critical at that moment. And therefore, I think what we are really looking for, that county governments, including these health services they run in the county governments, they should do what we call an extension work services, like we have in agriculture extensionists, who go to villages, who go to homes, teaching people on how to grow foods. Also, they should be able to go to homes and villages and health clinics to teach individuals on how to have social stability, mental stability, and the attitude they have. There are many challenges facing our young people today, particularly in this era of COVID-19. There are many questions that our young people are asking. What shall I do? And in the absence of any information, they are derailed. And that's how you develop mental disorders that need not be developed, because these are preventable, largely preventable disorders. All we need to do is to promote the habit and the ability to be able to dialogue with these individuals at the village level, at the dispensary level, at the clinic level, and therefore you'll be able to restore their confidence and ability to cope with the hardships of life. And I think we are missing that point when we don't do so. No wonder then that when they leave unattended, they will then progress on to pathological issues that become very difficult to deal with. They either form depression is one of the most tools that we see, that if you do not take care of them in the earlier stage, they will go into a stage of depression. And there are very types of depression: endogenous depression, exogenous depression, and then you have a difficult situation. People who cannot be managed when they could have been prevented at the very early stage. So, Madam Speaker, I think this is a relevant question, and the ministry must wake up to be able to address this matter, because it's one of those promotive healthcare and preventive healthcare system in the mental area, not only in the medical area. I thank you, Madam Speaker. I support the statement.
Senator Sakaja, you are the last one to comment on this. 3 minutes.
Thank you. Senator Kasanga continues to distinguish herself as a champion for mental health awareness. You know, we passed her bill. I think there's no other legislator in the history of this country who has really stood for that, you know, sector as she has. She's enlightened us, and she did a book, and we said it is okay not to be okay. Madam Speaker, I note that she has congratulated Nairobi County. I know the county is trying, but actually in those 32 facilities, we don't have enough staff who are, you know, offering those services. We built many hospitals by NMS, and I'm glad we have the physical facilities, but in terms of the staffing, the clinical psychologists, the therapists, the, you know, counselors, there is a gap that needs to be met. In fact, Madam Speaker, when you called me, I was just talking to some of my doctors, and what they're telling me is that it is not true that all these facilities are giving these services. They're saying under NMS, there is no psychiatrist employed under NMS. There's no psychiatric nurse, psychologists yet. And I'd spoken to the County Public Service Board and told them one of the challenges we had, and I remember because following Senator Kasanga's, I was supposed to call her Dr. Kasanga, following Dr. Kasanga's interventions, I went to visit Chiromlen, Dr. Frank Njenga's facility, and I found some of these, you know, critical care specialists being trained. They are in private sector. But they said that in the counties, the schemes of service under the public service boards have not acknowledged or recognized these careers. They have not recognized psychiatrists. They have not recognized psychiatric nurses, clinical psychologists, and they need to do that so that they can be put in the payroll. I'm told, actually, we have very few psychiatric nurses. We only have counselors, and the counselors are a few. So I would urge NMS and even other counties, in as much as they've done that good step, and I always acknowledge the good they've done, they are very cooperative in many respects, let them now recognize all of these cadres that are required and actually fully staff them throughout our hospitals, because we have a lot of issues with mental health. Madam Speaker, even within Parliament, you know, and especially for leaders, people before used to be shy to go see a counselor. You thought that it means you're mad, you know, but it is not the case. When they introduced in our medical scheme, because a colleague of ours, I remember in the last Parliament, needed to get that support, they were not being, you know, her doctor was not being paid. When they were added, it became the highest consultancy that is being utilized by members of Parliament. It's not dentists, it's not opticians, it's actually mental health you know, services. So we should not be shy about it, and we should encourage, and especially young people. When I go around, I tell them, please, and especially men. You know, ladies you have a good support system, you're in chamas, you talk to each other. As men, when we go through these things, we don't talk to anyone. People get into alcoholism, they get into drugs. And I always tell young men, please, do not be shy. Talk to somebody when you're not okay. So I thank you for this statement. We'll keep pushing it. But I assure you, when I'm elected governor of Nairobi, I'll make sure that every facility has these you know, services being provided. Inshallah, God willing. Thank you.
We now move to statements pursuant to Standing Order 52-1, Senate Majority Leader.
Madam Speaker, I want to thank you. And really, Madam Speaker, the point of congratulating Senator Kasanga because of being consistent on the mental health issues. Congratulations. Madam Speaker, pursuant to Standing Order 52-1, I hereby present to the Senate the business of the Senate for the week commencing Tuesday, 22nd February 2022. Madam Speaker, on Tuesday, 22nd of February 2022, the Senate Business Committee will meet to consider and approve the business for the week. On that day, subject to approval of the committee, the Senate will consider business that will not be concluded from today's order paper, as well as business indicated in the notice paper that has been annexed to the order paper of today. On Wednesday, 23rd February, and on Thursday, 24th February 2022, the Senate will consider business that will not be concluded on Tuesday, 22nd, and Wednesday, 23rd February 2022, respectively, and any other business scheduled for the Senate Business Committee, including petitions and statements. Madam Speaker, there are 8 bills due for the Committee of the Whole. Madam Speaker, am I protected?
We seem to be having a meeting within a session. Orders Senator Sakaja, Ephraim Maina, Senator Sylvia Kasanga, and the leader being Senator Irungu. Order. You're protected, Senate Majority Leader.
Madam Speaker, I think, thank you very much. There are 8 bills due for the Committee of the Whole stage and 21 bills for the second reading, 6 bills for which debate has been concluded at the second reading and are now due for division, have been scheduled in today's order paper, and as well as 3 bills at the Committee of the Whole stage that are also awaiting division. I urge honorable senators to be available in the House to enable the Senate to undertake the divisions on these bills. On the matter of debate, on the other bills, they will be allocated slots in the weekly program of the Senate business that is circulated every Friday, and accordingly scheduled in the order paper for that day. I urge respective movers to be available in the Senate whenever such business is scheduled in the order paper. I take this opportunity to remind all honorable senators of the directive of the Speaker to strictly adhere to the provisions of Standing Order 59.3. Madam Speaker, as you are aware, ordinary motions lapse at the end of every session. Senators who are interested in moving motions that lapsed at the end of the 5th session are encouraged to refile them and give notice afresh. Finally, I urge respective standing committees to expedite consideration of the 48 petitions that have not been concluded, as well as statements pursuant to Standing Orders 47 and 48. Madam Speaker, I thank you and hereby lay the statement on the table of the Senate. Thank you.
Honorable Senators, having concluded on the statements, I now wish to rearrange the order paper by deferring orders 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, and 16, and 17. But before deferring 17, I would like to invite Senator Naomi to make her intervention.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, I rise seeking your direction on the order paper number 17, the KEMSA bill. The last time when the bill was listed for committee, the last time the committee was listed for the Committee of the Whole, and yesterday, as late as yesterday, but the bill did not proceed. Madam Speaker, the Committee on Health is yet to submit or finalize on its consideration of its findings on the bill. Madam Speaker, the committee is to table the report, which I'm eagerly waiting as a sponsor of this bill. And this is a very important bill, Madam Speaker, dealing with the health matters and a core mandate of it is a core mandate of health. Madam Speaker, I beg that you give directions requesting the Health Committee to table its report on the by next week, or so that we can conclude on the matter, being the bill being a very important bill, and it has taken quite some time since I laid on the floor of this House. Madam Speaker, I seek your direction.
Honorable Senators, on this one, being on medical supplies and noting the concerns by the mover, I would wish, or I would that the chairperson of the relevant committee, that should be Senator Mbito, to report progress to this House in the next sitting. Honorable Senators, to rearrange the order paper further, I wish to call in order number 23 before we proceed to the next order, which is order 18. Order 23. Senator Ephraim Maina.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I start to move the Elections Amendment Bill number 3 Bill of 2021. And Madam Speaker, this bill has taken the life of this House. I moved this bill from the very beginning because I considered it an important bill for the adequacy of elections in this country and the democracy. Madam Speaker, the bill simply actually wishes to allow members to use what I have referred in the bill as popular name. Madam Speaker, in this country, people carry all kinds of names. Wananchi give you names, and they refer you as such, and they know you as such. And then you have the ID number, which you might have given when you are in these, some of us in colonial primary schools, and you went to a church, and you are given a name, you are baptized, and that name you are known with. But over the years, you may have a name which people actually popularly know and refer you to. Now, the difficulty that is there in law today is that when you want to use that name, which Wananchi know, because the issue of democracy is that people should be given the easiest and the simplest way to express their wish. Therefore, anybody wishing to elect anybody would rather be given the simplest way to do it by using the name that Wananchi know. Wananchi may be calling you John Walker, and then In your ID, you are called Michael John. So you would rather use the name Wananchi, like me, people call me Kirinyaga in my area. And I felt that I was being disadvantaged, and I lost some votes by using the name of my ID, Ephraim Mwagimaina. But unfortunately, I had to use it. And in the last election, I had to impose the name Kirinyaga on my ID. Madam Speaker, this bill wishes to give members freedom like other countries like the US. In the US, people use the name they wish to use, provided you can swear an affidavit that I'm so-and-so, and I'm the same person, and I want to appear on the ballot paper as so-and-so. If people call you Siba, you call Siba. For example, Baba is known as Baba. If today you put the name Baba, every Kenyan will know whom he is referring to. But if you go back and use the name that he was given by Mzee Jaramogi and the Mama, it may not be a name that some people are familiar with. Therefore, I'm trying just to see the easier way to use the name. Maybe even the Hasala may wish to use the name Hasala on his ballot paper. But I was doing it for myself. Those days, when I was moving the bill 5 years ago, and the message, Senator Chelagai, should he explain to this House how the bill took 4 years in his committee, going round, until I have never known what they were doing. I don't know what law they learned, because to me, law is there to make things easier. What were you doing with a simple bill for 4 years, Senator Chelagai? Therefore, but that's beside the point. I want to move now that this bill be enacted, and simply, that's what it is. The purpose of the bill is to amend the Elections Act number 24 of 2011 to allow a candidate to be presented to the electorate on a party primary or election ballot papers in the way in which the candidate has chosen to familiarize himself or herself to the electorate. Currently, the law only permits the use of candidates' official name as it appears in the register of voters and in the candidate's identification documents. A candidate who wishes to have his or her popular name included on a ballot paper has to go through the lengthy process of officially changing his or her name through the procedure of set up under the legislation of Persons Act 107 and the legislation of Documents Act 283 and the rules and regulations made under the two acts, which is an extremely laborious and hindrance to democracy. The ultimate goal of an election is to ensure that the electorate choose their preferred leaders in a free and fair environment. Name recognition thus becomes an important aspect of free and fair election, and it should be enabled to the fullest extent. It ensures that a voter easily identifies his or her preferred candidate on a ballot, and therefore votes in the way he or she intended. Candidates should therefore not be unduly and other election-related materials, as this hinders the realization the candidate right to, without unreasonable restrictions, contest in an election, and the electorate right to free expression of their will, as contemplated under Article 38 of the Constitution. This bill, therefore, seeks to provide for the inclusion of the candidate's popular name on a ballot paper, while at the same time safeguarding the sanctity of the electorate process. Further, to ensure that this flexibility does not prejudice a free and fair election in any way, the IEBC would be required to approve the use of the popular name in an election. The bill also proposes to amend Section 109 of the Election Act to ensure compliance of Article 95 of the Constitution in the approval of regulations made pursuant to the proposed new clauses and the Election Act in general. Therefore, Madam Speaker, I must say I intend to move the bill.
Who is your seconder? Senator Sakaja.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I rise to second the bill that the Elections Amendment number 3, Bill 2021, be read a second time. Madam Speaker, Senator Ephraim Maina has done a good thing. We have seen in the last election, two last elections, and I hope he's not leaving as I second his bill. In the last two elections, you have seen people going to very crazy extents of changing their names. Going to get a deed poll, and you change your name and add, that popular one that people know you as. I have my friend, the former governor of Nairobi, who went and put Sonko. You have the honorable former governor of Kiambu, who put Babayao in his name. My friend James Madenge, who many of you don't even know is called James Madenge. He's now called Kanini Kega. He went and did that. But all of us remember him, those who knew him before, because I met him in 2007 when we were in Vijana Kibaki, we still call him James Madenge. Madam Speaker, the requirement that you need to go do a deed poll and change, I think is really unnecessary. Because, one day, your children, when they're saying what is their dad's name, the ID is saying Generali, or it is saying, some funny names that don't augur too well.
You not mention your friend Babu Owino, who is called Paul Ongili.
Oh, Paul Ongili.
But is known as Babu Owino.
Yeah, my friend and my follower in the University of Nairobi, who is Paul Ongili. But many people don't know that. In fact, if it's on the ballot paper, he can lose votes when you put Paul Ongili, because people know him as Babu Owino. So instead of that entire long process, for instance, if I want to say super governor, today if you say super senator, I think every Kenyan knows who you're talking about. In as much as I know in the rural areas, some try to use that. And if I say super governor, they already know who you're talking about, if I just put a billboard. So instead of that laborious process, I think what Senator Ephraim Maina is proposing is good, and we've discussed this in the Legal Affairs Committee, that you apply to the Electoral Commission, and they have a committee that then looks at what is reasonable. They shouldn't give you a name that gives you undue advantage. For instance, I can say that I want my name to be changed to governor. So when someone goes to the ballot of governor and just says governor, they vote no. You will not have names that are not what is naturally, or rather what has become a nickname. Because these names we don't give ourselves. I didn't start calling myself super. A group of young people started, and it just caught on. And I think sometimes it's very weird to call yourself such a thing, because it sounds like you're boasting. But it has caught on, and you accept, I don't know what Faria's nickname is, but if she has one, it's something that the people give to you. Many of them are affectionate, Many of them describe who you are. For instance, Baba or Hustler. If today you say Hustler, everyone knows you're talking about William Ruto. Or if you say Baba, they know you're talking about Raila Odinga. If you say the fifth, I don't know who people think you're talking about. It could be either of them, So this is welcome. However, it needs to be strengthened so that people do not abuse this. You don't want a situation where somebody in the Nairobi ballot says that his popular name is also Sakaja. So you find two Sakajas on the ballot paper, that you're using a name of another candidate to say that you've applied for that because that is your popular name, and your opponent can choose somebody else to, just to confuse voters. I think we need to be able to cure that mischief, and the regulations that the IBC then should be able to put in place, if this bill is passed, should make it clear on what you can or what you cannot do. I think any law, in as much as it might be well-intentioned, is very easy to abuse. You can find somebody who goes ahead to abuse it. But the crux of this, and I like very much that Senator Ephraim Maina has said it, is that all our interventions when it comes to electoral laws are to facilitate the ease of the expression of the will of the people. I think that is a cardinal, tenet of our Constitution, Article 1 and Article 2, that the sovereignty of the people is expressed directly or through the elected representatives. The ability to allow Kenyans to be able to, out of their free will, have an easier time at an election, I think that is an aspiration of democracy. And that is something that we must always support. So if this will make it easier for people to identify who they know, and especially in the rural areas, you find somebody has been there for a long time, he has been known, maybe he was, a carpenter, or maybe he sells things, maybe he gives tanks like Wamatangi, or he's known as Wamashati. I know somebody in Trans Nzoia, in Uasin Gishu, who is called Kotimoja, because he hangs one coat. Is the name Kotimoja? Kotimoja. You know, that's how people have known him. He should be allowed to use Kotimoja on the ballot, and the voter will know, yes, that is the person who we want to elect for as governor, for instance, if that is what he's going for. I'm not sure I heard about the name on Eldoret recently. So, you know, this is a brief bill. I support it, and I wish members could pass it quickly. I hope this is one of the last amendments to electoral laws, because as we said, and as was noted in the Critical Commission, these changes to the electoral legal framework should come as early as possible, not too late towards the election. Because remember, we're about to go to party primaries, I think in April. There'll be party primaries. And so this law should have been passed by both houses well in advance, so that people can be able then to apply to the IBC using the prescribed form as described in this law, for them to be allowed to use their popular names. I don't know what Senator Ephraim Maina's popular name is. Kirinyaga is his real name. That is his real name. I don't know if he has a nickname. I know which one I would give him if I was to be a voter in Nyeri.
For your information, he just informed the House that he actually had to add Kirinyaga so that it becomes his name, because that is his popular name.
Yes,
but initially it was not his name.
Oh, because of Kirinyaga construction and all that, so he had to add it. You see, he didn't have to do that. I have another one that describes, you know, this is a very kind man. I was his chairman in TNA, and he really has supported me. And I know even for Nairobi, he might be in another camp for now, but he's fully supporting me. And so I must support. And him, when he supports you, it is kwa hali na mali. Yeah? Not just lip service. He's a very kind man. And the people of Nyeri are very lucky to have him. And I will go campaign for him even there, in as much as our coalition will have a candidate. So, Madam Speaker, with those many remarks, I second this bill. Thank you.
Honorable Senators, I now propose the question, which is that the elections amendment number 3, Bill, Senate Bills number 48 of 2021 be read a second time. Senator Cherargei Samson.
Madam Speaker, this is a straightforward amendment. I want to, from the outset, to congratulate Senator Ephraim Maina Kirinyaga, the Senator of Nyeri and incoming Governor of Nyeri County, and assure him that, Madam Speaker, that when I was the chair and then, we did not procrastinate, but it is because of the changes that happened that, Madam Speaker, it is that the committee at that time was undergoing a lot of challenges of changes. But I am happy that my predecessor, the good learned senior, one of the few senior counsel, Senator Okongo Mugeni, has done very well. My successor, has done very well. So I want to congratulate Senator Ephraim Maina. I think not many people would think that with the nicknames, I think Majina Majahazi, I think that's what they say in Kiswahili, is especially in the political world. Madam Speaker, you know very well that there are many people that that would want to really use their nicknames in the ballot. We have, as my brothers have said, the names that we hear now are very so unique. You go to some place and they say this is Hustler, this is Baba, this is Kirinyaga, this is, and you know, at the end of the day, that is what voters will identify with. So I hope and believe that Senator Ephraim Maina was thinking was, we know several politicians who their real names we don't know. As Madam Speaker, you have rightly put it. But the voters and the people know them through their nicknames that they have acquired over time, like Wamashati, Wamatangi, you know. And when you ask, they say it's a corruption of maybe somebody who was donating tongues and decided to call him Wamatangi. So, Madam Speaker, the Senator Ephraim Maina has come up with a brilliant idea, especially to the political class, so that you don't also, you know, it will help the voters not to get confused when they are going to vote, because they will know who they are voting for. Personally, my name, of course, I added in my identity card, but if I was just to be called my two first names, and the third name would not be there, and then people will get confused at the ballot paper. So I really want to thank Senator Ephraim Maina for coming up with this amendment so that it becomes easy for identity when the voters are voting in. Secondly, I hope and agree that, as Kriegler report has said initially, let us fast-track some of these electoral amendments, because time also is running. We have 6 months to the general election. Yesterday, we had an amendment on the issue of degree requirement. Today, we're having of Senator Ephraim Maina on the issue of the names that you can use in the ballot paper. And I think it's a practice that has been done. So any person who wants to run in the office, they don't need to do deed poll, they don't need to change name, they don't need to apply with the registrar of persons, with the identification process. I think now when the IEBC, when we pass this amendment and it's fast track, it will be easy to put your name that is more popular on the ground, so that, you know, I know when somebody loses an election, they will always have an excuse. And one of the excuses, Madam Speaker, they say, you know, I was popular known as so-and-so, but when it went to the ballot, since my name, which was not there, was not, so this will end. Now people will no longer have an excuse saying, you know, my popular name was somebody, or Ule Wangombe, or somebody Ule Wamashati, and all those can be given in one direction. So I really want to say, let us support this. I hope we can conclude this bill today when division comes, and we can be able to vote and allow our National Assembly members to do that. Finally, is to thank Senator Ephraim Maina and wish him well in his new journey. He has been a member of parliament before. He now has been a senator, and I can see the price he's setting is very high. I was just telling him that I didn't know his cards until I saw it on media, that he's going for the top job. And I hope and pray that when he will consider the vehicles he will use to run for 2022, he can decide to use UD as a party of choice and become the governor. So I really want to congratulate Senator Ephraim Maina and wish him well. By the way, he's a prolific politician, so he knows where the signal is. So he's our senior. He knows where the direction is. This is an important bill. Let us pass it. Let us allow Kenyans to use their popular names in their ballot papers and in the elections, so that we can get the leaders we deserve. I thank you and I support.
Senator Haji Faria Ali.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, for giving me this opportunity to also contribute to this bill. Madam Speaker, I think calling people by their popular name is a great idea from a great leader, and I think people of Nyeri will be extremely lucky to have him as their governor instead of the jokers who finish all their money. And the corrupt ones who we know what they do with all that money. But what I can assure the people of Nyeri is that if they elect Senator Maina as their governor, their money will be safe. And he will do wonderful development and a lot of good work that is expected of a gentleman like Senator Maina. Madam Speaker, the other thing that I wanted to comment about is that to give somebody the popular name and to prevent the tedious process of changing name and all that, I mean, this is an idea whose time has come. But I think we need to have some caveats to ensure that people also don't take advantage of this bill to have another Senator Kirinyaga in the ballot box for governor, and then the electorates are further confused. I think there has to be some due diligence process to determine that that name actually belongs to the person that is being referred to, because there is mechanism of determining, I mean, whether this is true or not. And therefore, I really support this bill. And I think Senator Maina will help a lot of people who would have otherwise taken a very long time. And, you know, name change can happen even in a very short time. Compared to the process, the procedural it requires for you to change your name, somebody through an election cycle can acquire a name. And if that happens before the nomination, and people are able to identify that person with those names, then it is only fair to ensure that IEBC includes those names into the ballot box, so that the Kenyans who are electing that person know exactly whom they are electing, and there is no ambiguity about the names. Because sometimes the names that are being used sometimes can overtake that person's, biological or the given name, or the biological, parents that, that name belonged. So, Madam Speaker, this is a very simple amendment with nothing, it has a phenomenal, advantage in terms of people who are known with different names. And therefore, I support this bill, and I urge the people of Nyeri, if they need a leader with integrity, they already have one. There are not many counties who are as lucky to have somebody like him. Leaders are born, and I think Senator Maina is one of those born leaders. Thank you very much.
Senator Mogeni Eric.
Yes, Madam Speaker, I want to begin by congratulating my good friend, Senator for Nyeri, Senator Ephraim Maina, for coming up with these amendments. Madam Speaker, people have been using popular names, though they don't appear in the ballots, but nobody has ever thought of amending the law so that the name can appear without a person going through the rigorous legal process of changing a name through deed poll. So this is innovative, and you can imagine this has been with us for over 50 years. I know senators in this House, Madam Speaker, who ran and lost elections because of people looking for their names in the ballot during elections. Then they fail to find those names, and they are told, that candidate dropped out. I know the story of Senator Kimani Wamatangi. When he first ran for an election, he lost because he was known by the name Wamatangi, but people went to the polling stations, did not find the name Wamatangi in the ballot paper. So he had to go through the rigorous process of changing his name through deed poll, involving lawyers, advertising in the Kenya Gazette, etc. So you have made it easier, Senator Ephraim Maina, for many people who, if this bill finds favor in the House, and I'm sure it will, who will not need to go through this process of changing their names through the deed poll before the name can appear in the ballot. And Madam Speaker, my committee went through this bill, and our report has already been prepared. I want to, without anticipating debate, really there isn't much that we want to propose to be changed on this bill, other than maybe just urging the House to pass the amendment as it is, so that it can be available for use in the forthcoming elections. And Madam Speaker, there are people who have now acquired names that you can never change. Anytime I go to Nyamira, Madam Speaker, and I rise up to support my presidential candidate, Engineer Raila Amolo Odinga, nobody calls him engineer. They tell me we are for Baba. So we want to pass this bill like yesterday, so that when we go to the ballots, Madam Speaker, we can have Baba on the ballot. And the ones who want to have the there are people also associated with other things. You can also have somebody in the ballot, then they have their popular name as Wilbaro, so that Kenyans can know between Baba and Wilbaro, what do you choose? They can look for the popular name that resonates with the people. So this is something that we want to pass. Even me, Madam Speaker, in Nyamira I have my nickname, because when I was vying for elections last time, I was moving around with Akala, so I was nicknamed Otero. One time I took Senator for Kericho, Senator Cheruyot, to Nyamira for a function, and he was surprised when people are calling me Otero. So I want this bill to be passed like yesterday, so that I can also add the name Otero to my name, so that when I go for, when people go to the ballot, they can pick my name out. So this is a very good amendment, Madam Speaker, one that we need to process very quickly, so that as we go to the elections in 2022, your popular name, Senator for Nyeri, should be on the ballot. And I want to congratulate you. You know, you are the seniors we look up to. I want to really congratulate you. This is something that will go down to the annals of history, when people in the future will be running for elective seats and they add their popular name. The country will remember that this is an amendment that was moved by the then Senator for Nyeri, Senator Ephraim Maina. And I hope that the people of Nyeri will find it worthy to elect you as their next governor. Because we know you, the way you have served here, somebody who is extremely respectful to his colleagues, somebody who is always available for consultation by the younger senators in this house. So you'll be a good brain for the people of Nyeri. And Madam Speaker, this idea of using popular names happens in other jurisdictions. In the United States of America, there are a number of states where people who are vying for elective seats are allowed to use their popular names, even if the name does not appear in their identification documents. So there are best practices that we can pick from other jurisdictions where this has worked, and I'm sure it can work here. And Madam Speaker, there are people who always make complaints that we bring amendments closer to elections. No, the senators in this house know that in fact we processed your amendment, we brought it to the House, it was up for passage, and then we had the judgment that came from the High Court in High Court petition number 284 of 2019. And the court ruled that any bill that had not properly gone through concurrence process had to be reprocessed again. So this is the second time that your bill is coming back to the floor. Otherwise, if it was not that interpretation of the High Court, I'm sure by now your bill could have been enacted and become law. I want to appeal also to my colleagues in the National Assembly. Once we pass this bill, this amendment, and we send it to the other house, they should process it quickly, because it's a fairly straightforward amendment. Madam Speaker, I had Senator Cherargei speaking here before, alluding to some fear that the amendments about elections that we should not pass very late into the day. I mean, just passing an amendment, Madam Speaker, to include a popular name on the ballot, how does that cause any confusion? I think it's something that should be welcome. But you can't say that people have sinister motives, that there are people who want to rig elections. No. And me, I know when you hear people start talking about rigging elections, it's because they are fearing that probably they are going to lose. That's why every day you wake up talking about rigging, because you're already sensing defeat. You know, I mean, how do you tell the country that by Senator for Nyeri bringing an amendment to allow people to put their popular names into the ballot, that is causing confusion that may be tantamount to rigging? No, far from it. In fact, that is going to help the people of Kenya, our women, our old people, who may just be go to the ballot box looking for that person's popular name. It makes it easier. So this idea of every day singing to us that they will be rigging, no, just say these are hot contests. The best way to put the statement across is tell Kenyans this election will be a very hot contest. And if I lose, I will accept defeat. That's what it means to be an honorable leader. But not telling people about rigging every day, rigging. No, that's not what we want Kenyans to hear, Madam Speaker. We want people to assure the country that this is a close contest. And if they lose, they will accept defeat, because we know who has the best interest of Kenya. In my county, Madam Speaker, I'm still beat up to today for a presidential candidate who opposed BBI, because we are going to get an extra constituency in one of our largest constituencies, Kitutu Masaba, Madam Speaker, which has more than 225 public schools. And by passing BBI, we are going to divide that constituency into two. Now, our children who are not getting bursary, and there's not enough money for bursary, we are going to be immediate beneficiaries. Now, when you tell us you care about bottom-up, and you don't care about the people who live there, you are a con man. And our people must know who cares about them. Now, if you are given a choice, even if you live in Nyamira, you are told this presidential candidate was supporting that you get more money through CDF by dividing Kitutu Masaba into two. Immediately you get 135 available for building police station, for building schools, for giving more money to our children for bursaries to go to school. Then you come and tell people you don't want that to happen. How do you care about these people? How do you lie to us that you are promoting something you are calling bottom-up when you don't want the people in the grassroots to benefit? Madam Speaker, we are going to increase revenue to counties to 35%. And my county as Nyamira was immediately going to benefit because we are going to get more money. When we get more money, we will ensure that medicine is available to our people. We will build more hospitals because that's what evolution is meant to do. We are going to have a provision of water. Then you come here and you tell us BBI is about positions. Even a class 1 child will tell you what is about positions in increasing revenue to counties, Madam Speaker. What is about positions when you are saying we want to give you more resources by adding more constituencies? Really, Madam Speaker? So these are the kind of people, Madam Speaker, this country should know that they don't have the interests of the people in counties at heart. Even a simple proposal like giving social support to people who are vulnerable, people who economically don't have good earnings, people who are suffering. And we know the levels of poverty. I don't know where people live, Madam Speaker. You want to give people a stipend of 6,000 to support those who are elderly and those who are also poor. And we know the statistics about poverty in this country. Then you come up and say you don't want money to be given to the poor. And where will the money come from? Money is being stolen day in, day out. Once we seal those loopholes of corruption, there will be enough money for people to get money down to the counties. And I like the choice that we are facing in 2022. Very simple, Madam Speaker. Me, I go to my county, I tell people, one of them wants to donate a wheelbarrow for you. Another one is telling you, I know you are suffering, you don't have enough income, 6,000 in your pocket. What do you take? They tell me they want 6,000. Wheelbarrow is 250, they will get their first 6,000, they will buy many wheelbarrows. So many. The choice is very clear, Madam Speaker. And we want our people to know these are simple mathematics. Even somebody in nursery school can see. People can see. 6,000, you buy a wheelbarrow and you have a lot of change. You will do everything you want. And Madam Speaker, let me tell you, Kenyans, I was being told in Nyamira, anybody who is telling people about wheelbarrows doesn't want to be a president of this country. How can you be a president to give people wheelbarrows? But if you are a serious president, you look at money available to you as a president, then you tell Kenyans, out of what I have, I'll show that I care for the poor of this country because we know them, we represent them. I'll give you 6,000. Then you are a serious person. That's a serious presidential candidate, Madam Speaker. So as I support this bill, Senator Ephraim Maina, let us pass it. When we go to the elections, let everybody be identified with those popular names. I want to see Baba on the ballot with that nickname, Baba, and I'm sure we shall win. I support, Madam Speaker.
I see no further requests, and I therefore call upon the mover to reply.
Madam Speaker, I thank the House, I thank everybody for the support on this bill, Madam Speaker. And I must say, as has been expressed by the senators and by the senior counsel who has just spoken, this bill should have been passed yesterday. I brought this bill in the first year, and it should have passed. It went down to, it was one of them which was affected by the court yonder, and here we are. I would have asked for division today, Madam Speaker, and I think leading the mood of the House, everybody is for this bill to pass, Madam Speaker. And I think there should be a record that it has been passed. Only when there will be some division, then it can be included in that time of voting, Madam Speaker. But I think it must come out clear the bill has been passed. And I want to thank everybody for all the kind words and the appreciative words they have given to me, and they have assured Nyeri people that, for one, I must thank our Deputy Whip for saying she has confidence that I'll take care of the resources of my people. I don't think, I said last night in the TV, I said that if I have never been associated with any maneno munaita ufisadi, we are told 2 billion is stolen every day in this country. I was listening to Senior when you were talking, and do you know how much money you could give Kenyans? If you took the 2 billion, if you sealed the 2 billions, you would end up with 730 billion to share among Kenyans. And tell me how much money you would give to the poor. Not 6,000. You would give them over 100,000. Kila mtu. And we would start a new nation overnight, within 1 year, by sealing the loophole. 2 billion daily is 730 billion a year. Half the total collections of this country, because we collect 1.7 trillion. Therefore, I support you when you talk about things, especially sealing corruption. Corruption is the single most great enemy of this country. Corruption is the single most threatening thing to the life of Kenyans today. And until it is sorted out, until the criminals are actually properly punished. And Mr. Mugen, Senator Mugen, you are senior counsel. How come to this day we don't have a single minister, a single governor, a single senator, a single member of parliament, a single PS who is in a committee in Akanga, who has done something, who has stolen drugs, money for drugs? They should be in a committee, in Akanga, in Akanga. The only thing we'll say, because we are human, they'll be given enough ugali. Madam, that is the Kenya we want. And I heard your sentiments, and I'm with you, that we must be serious from now on. But, Madam Speaker, this bill is about changing the name, and I started to be corrected by you, Madam Chair, but I want, in your judgment, because there may not be enough members to pass the bill, at least there should be a clear legislation, a clear documentation that the bill was passed. It is only waiting for the numbers. And I believe even on the social media, we could be having many people supporting it. Therefore, I leave it to you, but if you desire, it can be deferred to a day when there is enough members for the division.
Honorable Senators, we will not be able to put the question at this moment because of the numbers. You know, we need to have delegations to be able to go into division. So the bill is therefore deferred for division when we have the numbers. Deferred to the next sitting date. We move to the next order.
Order number 18, the Persons with Disabilities Amendment Bill, Senate Bills number 29 of 2020, second reading.
Senator Aaron Cheruiyot and Senator Isaac Mwaura. I see they are not logged in. They are not also physically present, so this order shall be deferred. Order 18 is therefore dropped. Next order.
Order number 19, the Alternative Dispute Resolution Bill, Senate Bills number 34 of 2021, second reading.
Senator Sylvia Kasanga, she was present at some point. If she's not logged in and not physically present, it is also dropped.
Order number 20, the Coconut Industry Development Bill, Senate Bills number 24 of 2021, second reading.
Chairperson, Standing Committee on Agriculture, Livestock and Fisheries. That is Senator Ndwiga. Also not present. It is dropped from the order paper.
Order number 21, the County E-Health Bill, Senate Bills number 39 of 2021, second reading.
Order number 21 is an interesting one. It is my bill. It is therefore deferred. 20, next.
Order number 22, the Elections Amendment number 2 Bill, Senate Bills number 43 of 2021, second reading.
Senator Ledama Olekina, not online, not present physically.
I think he had requested that the bill be deferred.
I am told that he requested that the bill be deferred. It is therefore deferred. Next order paper. Next order.
Order number 24, the Maternal, Newborn and Child Health Bill, Senate Bills number 52 of 2021, second reading.
Senator Rose Nyamunga. Not present, deferred, or dropped? Dropped.
Order number 25, the Employment Amendment Bill, Senate Bills number 54 of 2021, second reading.
Senator Samson Cherargei, he was present at some point. That order is dropped.
Order number 26, the Landlord and Tenant Bill, National Assembly Bills number 3 of 2021, second reading.
Senate Majority Leader. That order is dropped.
Madam Speaker.
Senator Faria.
Madam Speaker, I request that you defer that that bill instead of dropping it. Majority Leader will. I mean, we can put it in the order paper on Tuesday. My request, instead of dropping.
Deferred. Next.
Order number 27, the Cotton Industry Development Bill, Senate Bills number 55 of 2021, second reading.
This is Chairperson Standing Committee on Agriculture, Livestock and Fisheries, Senator Ndwiga. Not present and therefore dropped. Honorable Senators, there being no other business, the House therefore stands adjourned until Tuesday, 22nd February 2022 at 2:30 p.m.